Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. We had actually produced the show prior to that, that was focused on Jeff Teague kind of flip-flopping on the GOAT debate. So we did that, and then we were doing some research for another video with Jeff Teague, but I couldn't find any sound from this video. I don't remember. I don't remember quite properly. And I saw this video, but I didn't watch it in its entirety. So later on in the day, I get a notification. No, I opened up my computer and I saw a video of Too Raw for TV saying that breaking news, Jeff Teague accuses LeBron James of using PEDs, or says that LeBron James was allegedly using PEDs. I'm like, what? So I then quickly jump on the internet just to find out that the clip actually came from a video I had already saw earlier that day, but I didn't watch it in its entirety. I'm like, what? How did I miss this? So I quickly went out there to hunt down the sound to hear what Jeff Teague himself said and to see whether or not it was true. And folks, as a matter of fact, it was true. And his comments absolutely set the internet ablaze. So what we want to do is want to play what Jeff Teague had to say yesterday on his show, Club 520 Podcast. And then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to what he had to say there.
Which Bron was better?
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat.
I'm going this Cavs Bron because this Cavs Bron had a 3.
Man, y'all crazy.
Miami Heat best Bron we ever seen. I ain't gonna lie.
He was on steroids, bro. He had to sit out. He was on steroids for real.
Now give me
like legit was on steroids, bro. I'm allegedly, but like he had to sit out. But y'all remember when they told him like they
there goes the Clutch Sports allegations?
Y'all remember that though? No, but they was like he got everybody. They started testing for HGH, and they was like, "Yo," and he had to sit out. Like he said, his back was hurt, and he sat out for like 3 weeks, and he came back skinny. This is just I was in the league. I remember, and he came back in. He was crazy though.
Nah,
bro.
that might have been the best Bron, bro.
Excellent. So those were his original comments, right? So we did a show about it. People tuned in. We're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people are interested in this story because there's a backstory to this, which we're going to get to subsequently. And then people are making all kind of jokes. Oh, the checks must have bounced and all this, blah, 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 whatever. Then not too long later, maybe like an hour or so later, or maybe even when we're doing the live, people were saying, oh, Jeff Teague is already taking it back. He's already taking it back. I'm like, well, really? Yeah, he's already taking it back. And then apparently what he did was he went to his Instagram and posted on his story because apparently this thing was picking up a lot of news. And I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. So now what we want to do is we're going to hold up the image of what he posted. And he posted the following on his IG story. Y'all weird. I was joking about Bron. He was just that dominant. Chill. So the minute I saw this, I started laughing to myself. And the reason I was laughing to myself, I'm like, okay, this is getting clownish. All right? This is getting clownish. The guy is calling people weird, yet he said it. He's calling people weird, yet he said it. Nobody told him to go up there and say what he said. Nobody held a gun to his head and say, hey man, say it. Nobody said that. As a matter of fact, his podcast partners were even acting like it said they didn't even hear it. The one dude that had the he was like the dude that was laughing at Kobe, like, yeah, I'll give Kobe, but he was looking uncomfortable as hell. So they tried to play it off, but he said it. And they were like, no. He's like, no, but for real, I was there. That was a joke. Now, let me tell you why this is such a big deal. The reason is this is such a big deal is because there's been murmurs about this throughout the NBA for years now. We recently produced a show not too long ago where Ric Bucher of Fox Sports said, this is commonly accepted in the NBA that that's what's going on. There's no concrete evidence, but this is what's accepted. And then when you think about all the people that have alluded to this, Shale Sonnen, he's not been sued yet for defamation. Kevin Garnett made his comments about the Balco comments. You had Shaq, who recently said, I'm on that Bron, whatever he's referring to. And you had countless others. Max Kellerman once referred to it on ESPN First Take. Stephen A. Smith tried to play it off. So this is something that people have always alluded to. And I'm going to quickly read from an article that I read during that live that maybe some people have not seen. Let me read this article here. It's from Basketball Forever. It says, LeBron's involvement in PED scandal explained after findings go public. This article was published on September 2023. 10 years ago, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration investigated LeBron James as part of a federal biogenesis probe due to the potential involvement of his associates. James was cleared of any wrongdoing, but some interesting new public information has been obtained by ESPN's Mike Fish. But what has not been publicly known until now, found in more than 1,400 pages of unredacted federal investigative documents obtained by ESPN, are the names of other athletes and figures, from world championship boxers and wrestlers to fitness gurus, entertainers, and even law enforcement officials who surfaced during the investigation of the largest doping operation in U.S. sports history, Fish wrote. Among them are former WWE star The Big Show White, former boxing champion Shannon Briggs, one of the most well-known trainers of prominent athletes in David Alexander, and Ernest Randy Mims, a longtime friend and business manager of LeBron James. And what we want to quickly do is put up an image of LeBron and Mims so you guys can take a look at them so you know who it is, because I'm sure some of you have seen him. So that's him there. Let's continue on. Federal authorities told ESPN that they found no evidence to suggest that Alexander or Mims gave PEDs to athletes, including LeBron. But because of his association with the pair, James was also looked into. Mims has held several key roles for LeBron, including at the Lakers and Cavs, and the investigation found he had been purchasing testosterone-boosting injection and blood draw from Carlos for his personal use. Avevedo was a known dealer of performance-enhancing substance and a target of the investigation. Mims was referred to Avevedo by Alexander, who got substances for free in return for referrals. The article then concludes. It says, in fact, although it had been widely reported that James worked at times with Alexander while playing for the Heat and later the Cleveland Cavaliers, that was not how the documents referred to the trainer, Fish wrote. Rather, they identified Miami-based Alexander as the personal trainer of James's wife. State and corporation documents show she and Alexander also co-owned a cold-pressed juice and smoothie business at the time. Stanfield, the former DEA investigator, said that because of the duo's connection, the DEA examined whether Alexander's action had any connection to James and determined they did not. I can tell you that we looked into everything just because we knew this day would come. She wasn't getting any supplements, anything like that. There was never any indication that James did anything wrong. Until approached by ESPN last November, a James representative said he had no knowledge that his name, his wife, or his associates had ever been referenced in the biogenesis investigation. It is not the first time James has been brought up in relation to PED. Since former UFC star and self-confessed drug cheat Chael Sonnen claimed earlier this year that he and LeBron have the same drug guy. So that's the reason why people are making a big deal out of it. That is exactly the reason why. And if you juxtapose that with all of the murmurs and examples of people going out there and saying what they've said, you now understand this. Now, that moment that Jeff Teague was referring to was when LeBron was playing with the Cavs. He then flew and then came back and then looking brolic or whatever it is. And some people assume that maybe he went to get it out of his system or whatever the hell it was, or blah, 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 blah. I don't know the details extensively. That's what he was referring to. But for him to go out there and say it so definitively, and then turn around, 6, 7, 8 hours later and say, oh, y'all are weird, bro. Son, knock it off, bro. Knock it off. You put something out there like that, people are going to react to it. And then when they react to it, you call them weird, bro. Knock it off, man. This is what I told you on the last show. This is the behavior I never met. I don't know where was this behavior and this dude's manufactured at, bro. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. We're going to do it. Some people are like, oh man, why are you talking about this? Well, why are they slandering Kobe? Why are all these people throwing smut on his name? All these people. All these people that have been throwing smut on Kobe Bryant's name. Everybody, it's fair game. They're just being honest. They're just giving you their opinion. Okay, I'm just giving you my opinion. Just being honest on things and how I see them. LeBron fans kill me, man. They monitor our channel like as if they work at a CCTV company. Always monitor our content bothers them so much, yet they watch every single day. I even have a stalker on the internet, bro. A real life stalker. This dude stalks me more than he stalks the women in his life, or like he stalks me. You can't block him, nothing. Anytime I produce a show, he's always watching, lurking, stalking me. Like, damn, bro, get off my back, man. So, y'all know what Jeff Teague said yesterday. And this comment set the internet into a blaze, right? Set the internet into a blaze because he said LeBron was on steroids. Yep, that's what he said. And then he later on had to say he was joking. And we're like, about what part? Him being on steroids? So everything you said was a lie. Jeff may respond, yes. Okay, why'd you say it? Why would you make a joke about somebody when you know the suspicions out there? Where countless people, media members, and others have said this, have questioned this. Why would you do that? Why would you even say, I remember I was there? Well, he didn't lie about that because that was a real thing. That was a real investigation. He didn't lie about that. Right? And you now look even worse because now it looks like they told you to change your opinion. It looks even, you would have been better off saying nothing. But for you to go back and try to walk it back, you look even worse. It looks like you capitulated. And now it says to me that you can never give your true opinion on anything because you can always be corrected. They can always smack your hand down and say, don't say that. Just like a bunch of media pawns, man. It's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal. So all of that was being said. And then it made me remember something. It took me back to a time on ESPN First Take when Max Kellerman used to be there. And it was a particular segment. This was going back to when LeBron was in Cleveland. This may have been 2017 or 18, one of those years. And they were talking about the wear and tear on LeBron's body and how LeBron was able to play at this level for so long. And it was beginning to raise suspicions about how he was doing this. And then Max Kellerman essentially tried to say that this thing that Jeff Teague was referring to, this very story, that there may have been some funny business involved. And after the investigation, they found out Randy Mims was the guy buying it. You know, LeBron's close friend. But LeBron, I don't understand. It's a quinky dinky. It's a quinky dinky. Have you seen Randy Mims? Does he look like he would take off? It's a quinky dinky. Right? So as Max Kellerman is saying this, Stephen A. Smith tries to jump in and silence him and tries to say, oh, no, he was just on a paleo diet. It was nothing. It was a paleo diet. It was a paleo diet. So what we want to do is we want to play Max Kellerman alluding to this about LeBron possibly being on PEDs. And we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Max had to say there.
Yes, he takes care of his body, obviously. Better than anybody in a game. Better than anybody in a game. On the other hand, in the history of the NBA, when you've played as many seasons as LeBron, let's not forget, straight out of high school, he's playing a full slate. They didn't take it easy on him in terms of the minutes like they did on Kobe. They gave him, he was carrying the load. The minute his foot hit the ground in the NBA, he was off and running. And this is a bunch of seasons. What is it, 14 now? I mean, it's like when you think of the older players, they were 36, 37 years old, 38 years old by the time they played the minutes that LeBron James has played. And those are rough minutes. Now, this season, I've been saying since the beginning, given that fact, I don't care how you take care of your body, or rather, one of the ways you take care of your body, the fact that LeBron James has taken very few games off this season, not like last season, 2 seasons ago, when he mysteriously in the offseason lost like 30 pounds of muscle mass and didn't look the same and didn't play the same. Paleo diet. And then came back brolic and back to being LeBron James, Superman.
So you heard what Max Kellerman said. Now, do you want to know something even funnier than that? Later on that show, not that same day, but later on in that same show, they were talking about how LeBron they were saying how everybody gets worse over time, but LeBron gets better. And then guess who jumps up and says? Stephen A. Smith. He said, it's really amazing, paraphrasing, how everybody gets worse over time, but LeBron gets better. It's really amazing. I'll leave it at that. They all know what's going on, allegedly. They all know what's going on, allegedly. The paleo diet? That's what you do to get a body like LeBron and that type of physique and that type of endurance on a paleo diet. There were even people going around saying, oh, well, LeBron spends $1 million on his body. This has been that story. He spends $1 million on his body every single year. $1 million. Then what happened? LeBron went on the Pat McAfee show and said, I don't know where this report came from that I was spending $1 million a year on my body. Then they asked him, so what's your secret to? He goes, sleep. Sleep? Sleep. That's tantamount to walking up to Mr. Olympia and asking him, hey, man, how did you get to, what do you have to do to get a physique like yours? Oh, I just do 100 push-ups every day at home and 100 sit-ups, and I drink a lot of water and eat my vegetables. That's how you do it. What are you, One Punch Man? Are you One Punch Man? Like, I'm confused. So, this is Max Kellerman. Years ago, about 8 years ago, alluding to this. And they all try to play it off and whistle through the graveyard like, I don't know what's being said here. You remember the big uproar when Dan Le Batard said, he didn't even say LeBron was on something. He's like, well, wait a minute. Nobody's asking if this is normal? Then I forgot the guy that jumped up on, how can you say something like this? This is disgusting. How can you allege such a thing? And then here comes Jeff Teague. They're all playing a game. Y'all really believe these people, don't y'all? Y'all really think they're just, when you see them talk, they really say what you really believe that, don't you? Here's the irony in all of this. The people in the independent sector that they always like to trash and look down on have more balls than they do. And they don't have as much money as they do, but they have more courage than them. You have millionaires running for the hills. You cannot even get a clear opinion out of these millionaires. I'm talking about multi-million. You can't even get a clear opinion on anything. But then the people in the independent space, oh man, these guys are just nobodies. They're nobodies. I mean, come on. They didn't go to school for this. You got to go to school to tell the truth. You got to go to journalism school to tell the truth. You got to go to journalism school to be truthful. Well, I don't want to go to the school you went to. Because apparently after all what they taught you, you're still not being truthful. All the people in the independent spaces have the balls to say what these guys will never say. But then they look down on them. Oh, you didn't go to school. Did you study? What did you study over there? He might not have studied what you study, but he do have a lot of truth in him. There's some turmoil going on right now surrounding LeBron James. Because less than 24 hours ago, maybe 24 hours ago, Jeff Teague, who says a lot of things on his podcast, has made fun of Kobe. Oh, Kobe couldn't play defense. And everybody was loving Jeff Teague, huh? Oh, Jeff Teague is funny. Ha, ha, ha. He's just giving his opinion and blah, blah, blah. Well, then they were hosting an episode yesterday where Jeff Teague decided, you know what? Let me just go off the deep end and say what I actually know about what LeBron has been doing since he's been in the NBA. For those of you who don't remember what he said, take a listen to Jeff Teague here.
Which Bron was better?
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat.
I'm going this Cavs Bron because this Cavs Bron had a 3.
Man, y'all crazy. Miami Heat
best
Bron
Bron we ever
was,
seen. I ain't gonna lie.
he was on steroids, bro. He had to sit out. He was on steroids for real.
Now I give you
like legit was on steroids, bro. I'm allegedly, but like he had to sit out. But y'all remember when they told him like they
There
gonna
goes the
start?
Clutch Sports allegations.
Y'all remember that though?
Nah,
But they was like he got everybody. They started testing for HGH, and they was like, yo, and he had to sit out. Like he said his back was hurt, and he sat out for like 3 weeks, and he came back skinny. This is just I was in the league. I remember. And he came back in. He was crazy though, bro.
That might have been the best Bron, bro.
excellent. So you heard what Jeff Teague said there, right? So he said that, and it set the internet ablaze. Everyone has been reacting to it. And, you know, LeBron fans are running and hiding and trying to say, oh, no, it's not true. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. The guy that they were twerking it up all over the place for, pouring honey all over each other's backs for, hollering and screaming, oh, Jeff Teague said this about Kobe. Kobe can't play. They were loving him. Now, all of a sudden, Jeff Teague is public enemy number one. We even did a show where we read a report that was done into the investigation of this biogenesis lab down there in Miami, because he was essentially talking about the time LeBron flew from Cleveland to Miami, right? Where he just disappeared for like 2 or 3 weeks. So that's what he was talking about there. So as we're talking about this, you know, people are interacting within the NBA community. I then remember that we had done a show that was based on some comments that Ric Bucher made on June 2nd, 2025. Just over a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, where Ric Bucher said on his show that it is widely speculated and believed that LeBron has been on something within the NBA community. For those of you who probably never heard that sound, take a listen to Ric Bucher saying what he knows.
He can be disciplined in developing his skills and his shooting and all of that. But his out may be, but I want to eat and drink what I want. If he cared enough about what he ate and drank to treat his body like a temple, I would think he would have been doing it a long time ago, because he's already felt the repercussions of not doing so. And if he looked at LeBron and thought, man, he holds the secret, he could have pursued that a long time ago. He didn't need to be a teammate to have that realization if he was going to have it. It's one of the more annoying aspects, I'd say, of the idolatry of LeBron, that he is credited by some as being this sensei that has the answer to all things basketball, and that everybody is going to him for the answers. Now, we know for a fact that guys did that with Kobe. I don't know of anybody who has said, yes, I sought out LeBron to find out his secrets. I certainly, look, I appreciate LeBron for what he's done. I just don't make the assumption that everyone wants to be him. And there's also the nagging question about exactly how he's maintained such extraordinary fitness at such a ripe age. Now, whether there's any basis for the speculation, and I think you all know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to voice it because I don't have the means of backing it up. But we all know what the speculation is out there. And I can assure you there's plenty of it privately by players and personnel in the league. Like, I've always thought, maybe it could be. And I've had players and coaches say things to me like they take it for granted. They assume it's true. It always catches me a little off guard. They're just like, oh yeah, that's going on. And look, and it could be jealousy. It could be just wild speculation or gossip, being presented as fact but it's there. And even regardless, it takes a great deal of dedication and discipline to do what LeBron has done with his conditioning all these years, even if he's getting some sort of boost.
So you heard what Ric Bucher said. Now, some people are asking me, hey man, why are you making such a big deal out of it? Why are you making such a big deal out of it? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? I don't understand. I'm like, the reason people are making a big deal out of this is because this isn't the first time we've heard this. Now you have an NBA player coming out and explicitly saying he did this. Now, he did later on go on and say, y'all are weird, but he never said it's not true. He just said, oh, y'all are weird for real. He goes, y'all are weird. Let me read his comments. He goes, this is Jeff Teague. Y'all are weird. I was joking about LeBron. He was just that. So he was joking. He went from saying I knew, and that was what was being said in the NBA, to now he was joking. About what part? Because you, sir, said I know what was happening. I was in the NBA, I remember. Now you were joking. So essentially you were lying. Why were you lying? Why were you lying? You say a lot of stuff, so how do we know anything you say is not a lie? This is what happens when you cap. Now, again, the reason why people are making such a big deal out of this is because so many people have been talking about it. So many people have been saying it. So what we want to do is we want to play a quick compilation of various people in media alluding to this very thing. Jeff Teague ain't the first. Take a listen to this sound here.
Bronny get a bucket on Bron right now?
Yeah, he can get a bucket on Bron right now.
Nope.
Yeah, he can get a bucket.
No way. Nope.
Man, come on. That little dude explosive, bro.
He is, but you seen his dad? His dad on that balcony. He on that new juice. He ain't sliding like he used to.
If the world understood what LeBron did, like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player and you're hitting a stick out of the way. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think he's doing?
There's only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing.
Spend $1 million a year on your body.
Part of it.
Yeah. So why we ain't got the blueprint yet? Why ain't they came out with the whole, hey, look, young fella, this is how you do it?
KD is doing it.
I'm asking.
I'm answering.
Why it ain't on the internet? Everything else on the internet. Give me the blueprint of 1, 2, 3. Go buy this hyperbaric chamber. Go get this massage therapist. Go get these things to help your legs and your knees. Hey, young fella, you want to last in this motherfucker 24, 26, 20, 35 years? Do it like this. Why can't we figure out what you doing? And it ain't no genetic anomaly. This ain't no genetic. Either you an alien, a cyborg, or you're doing something nobody else knows doing.
Simply say to you, what do you think is more likely? That an athlete would try and defy age through science at the end of his career, or that one athlete had a career that defied the limits of the human body, unlike any we've ever seen in terms of mileage and how his body holds up for 20 straight years? I'm assuming did Kareem have more minutes? I'm assuming LeBron James has played more minutes than anyone else. Which do you think is more likely?
So you heard what these people had to say there. Why is this only being said about LeBron? Why are they picking on him? Why would people go out of their ways to levy such a damaging allegation against somebody if it wasn't true? Why would people be doing this? Why? This is the question we need to ask her. Why would they do that? Then maybe a LeBron fan in the back will say because they hate it. So Jeff Teague is a LeBron James hater? Really? Jeff Teague is represented by Clutch Sports? That's a known LeBron twerker? He hates LeBron? Of course he doesn't. But we all know, but everybody's playing dumb. And what is killing me is that people don't even want you to talk about this. Now, we don't have any concrete evidence. It's all alleged. But damn, when you got a lot of people alleging, media members and athletes that play within your sport, damn. There are a lot of people alleging this stuff. And people are, why are you bringing this up? Wait, LeBron ain't even, I don't even rank LeBron no more. He's not, after I heard yesterday, I don't even rank him no more. I don't rank him nowhere. He ranks nowhere. Until we get some clarification on this, he ranks nowhere for me. I don't rank him in my top 10, 20, 30. He ranks nowhere. He's just somewhere over there. I don't rank him anywhere no more. Because if it's true you are getting a competitive, then I don't count. Because now the whole argument has been longevity. Said, well, now if we know that you're getting some help along the way, then so how is that even important, or rather impressive? So I don't rank LeBron at all. He's not in my top 50, my top 100. He's nowhere for me personally. I don't rank him anywhere. Right? He's just omitted from my record books. It's just me. Y'all can rank him somewhere. And the part that kills me is that all of these people have these suspicions, and they still go out there and rank him as high as they do. Oh, if you look at what he's been doing over these years, they all know what's allegedly being said, but they all act like they don't know. And then I want to have lists and do all of this stuff. It's one big game, and y'all the fools. Y'all are the fool. But I even believe LeBron fans believe it's true. They're just in total denial because they've turned him into their messiah. They're in total denial. But even Ric Bucher alluded to this. All of these people talking about one person. So recently, some news came out surrounding former ESPN analyst, former ESPN analyst, NFL Hall of Famer, tight end Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharpe. As you guys know, he was hit with a bombshell lawsuit, $50 million lawsuit by an OnlyFans model a number of months ago. After that, subsequently, he had to then step down from ESPN, his role at ESPN First Take, and said that he was going to be fighting this legal battle. And he was looking to return to ESPN by the beginning of NFL season. I'm assuming that's any time now. So that took place there. Then apparently there was some misinformation that came out regarding the start of the lawsuit, where they said the plaintiff's representation didn't show up, and then Tony Busby came out and said this or this. So after the lawsuit started, a few days later, we got the news that it's been settled. And there were people like, wait, what? It's been settled already, right? And some people are speculating that the settlement was upward of $15 million to $20 million and all that. Because remember, initially he had offered her $10 million, so she said no. So I'm assuming now they probably paid out more, right? Because you're not going to offer the same amount because they already rejected that number. And then subsequently after that, the lady went out there and said that she's retiring from OnlyFans. And people were roasting and toasting Shannon Sharpe all over the internet, man. They were roasting him. And then some people started to take it a step further because I thought, okay, well, maybe now that this news is behind him, this drama is behind him, excuse me, he'll be able to make his return to ESPN. Then some people push back. No way, Charles. He's not going back to ESPN. No way. You can forget about it. You can forget about it. It's over. It's over. It's not happening. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. So that was said. So then this morning, I was going through the internet here, and I came across an article from The Sun with a headline that absolutely stunned me. It says, shock evidence. Shannon Sharpe judge demands ESPN star and OnlyFans model accuser do not destroy sex tape evidence in second lawsuit. And I'm like, you have got to be joking. All right, so let's get into what this article said. It says, inside the email sent to Monday to the model's attorney, Tony Busby, from Sharpe our accuser. A judge presiding over the case against ESPN star Shannon Sharpe has demanded that the star's our accuser do not destroy a sex tape to preserve evidence in a second lawsuit. The order covers all copies of a sex tape involving Shannon Sharpe and his accuser, an OnlyFans model referred to as Jane Doe, who settled her $50 million lawsuit with the famed sportscaster on Friday. A judge has ordered ESPN star Shannon Sharpe not to destroy a sex tape that was part of a $50 million lawsuit he settled last week. Sharpe settled a massive lawsuit with OnlyFans model accuser who had accused him of R, now a judge in another R allegation case once that tape saved. Sharpe stepped away from his role on ESPN First Take and denies Doe's accusation against him, slamming the now settled mega buck suit as a shakedown. The judge's order on the sex tape stems from a lawsuit filed by another woman who accused Sharpe of R, Michelle Evans. By the way, we spoke about this news already. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal in the order, Evans demanded that Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, Sharpe, and anyone else with a copy of the recording refrain from destroying the alleged sex tape. On Tuesday, the judge in the case ruled in favor of Evans and ordered that the tape and any other recordings between Sharpe and Doe be preserved. The tape, which Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, previously called key evidence, purportedly shows Sharpe and Jane Doe engaged in sex acts. The existence of the tape was initially disclosed publicly by the sportscaster himself just days after Jane Doe's lawsuit was filed in Las Vegas in April. Doe alleged Sharpe, who's 57, R'd her in late 2024 and again in early 2025 when she was just 20 years old. Sex tape preserved. Evans included in an email she sent Jane Doe's attorney specifically demanding that the tape not be destroyed in her request to the court. I am writing to place you on formal notice that you are in possession of evidence that is or may be relevant to ongoing or anticipated litigation involving Shannon Sharpe, Evans wrote. Specifically, I have reason to believe that you possess video or audio recording that depict or relate to Mr. Sharpe's interaction with Jane Doe, which may be central to claims raised in existing or forthcoming legal actions. Evans' letter to attorney continued. You are hereby directed to preserve and not destroy, alter, conceal, overwrite, or otherwise tamper with any and all materials in your possession, custody, or control that may relate to matters described above. And then the lawsuit just goes on where it says Michelle Evans accused Sharpe of R-ing her in 2010 and claimed in her own lawsuit that since then the ESPN star has continued to attack her publicly. Well, damn, this is devastating, right? This is devastating, and this thing is just simply not going away. It's not going away. Now, if you're telling me that this thing is still ongoing, then all bets are off. All bets are off. And to be fair, that's one of the reasons why people said I got it wrong. The reason that people said I got it wrong is that Shannon could find himself in a situation like Diddy did, which was this. The moment people found out that Diddy was willing to settle and pay money, everybody stood up and said, he did this to me, he did that 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 to me. And now that we've seen that Shannon Sharpe settled so quickly, might I add, then now this opens up the floodgates for other accusers to step forward and say, hey, well, he did this to me too. He did this to me too. He did this to me too. And now this lawsuit, this article is now saying that the judge is ordering them to not destroy any of the evidence whatsoever because there's another case coming down the pipe, another lawsuit coming down the pipeline. I don't know what to say, bro. I really, really don't know what to say, and I don't even know how we got here. It's crazy. We're going to have to look back one day and look at this story and say, man, because Shannon was on top of the world. Like, he was there, man. And now we find ourselves mired in this type of nonsense. I don't know what to say, man.